once again. The Niagara Falls sky lights up with a holiday tradition, and the Sabres try to continue their 9-game unbeaten streak. Eyewitness News starts right now.
You're watching Channel 7, WKBW-TV, Buffalo. It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Tonight, the latest on a Buffalo fire that left a family homeless.
Plus, continuing coverage of the weather pattern that's left a blanket of snow in the southern tier. Is more on the way.
And we'll go live to Niagara Falls, where the holiday celebrations are lighting up the night sky. And good evening, I'm Luke Moretti.
I'm Jean Hill. Our top story on Eyewitness News, a major attraction in Niagara Falls opens for the holidays. Reporter Melanie Pritchard is live at the Festival of Lights.
Jean, you know the holidays are upon us when a Festival of Lights begins here in Niagara Falls. This event has attracted millions of people ever since it began back in 1980, but in recent years, the attendance has not been all that stellar. That's why officials are pulling out all the stops this year to make sure the festival doesn't fizzle. Tens of thousands of people jammed the streets and sidewalks in front of the Niagara Falls Convention Center, dazzled by the first ever Tops Laser Light Show. Festival organizers are counting on this high-tech holiday display to keep drawing the crowds right through January 1st. People came from all over Western New York and Southern Ontario for tonight's show opener, and they hope this festival won't be the last.
And just to see how much more they've developed it through the years. I mean, I never usually came to the opening night, so this is probably the first or second time I've been here.
Well, we enjoy the parade, of course, but we come every year after the parade to see the lights.
There are literally millions of lights lining the trees and buildings here in downtown Niagara Falls, New York, and across the border in Niagara Falls, Ontario. An event like this takes a lot of planning.
It takes a full year. We've been working on this for an entire year, and it takes the entire community. We have the Parks Department, the City Department, the police, the firemen, the Convention Center, the Festival of Lights. It's an entire community coming together.
Parades on both sides of the border helped get things going today. In Niagara Falls, New York, fire trucks and marching bands led Santa Claus around Edent Lackey Plaza. AM Buffalo's Linda Pellegrino hosted the parade, and she was the lucky one who got to throw the switch to turn on the lights. And after an amazing light show, thousands of people went inside the convention center to hear country singer Charlie Pride. Young and old alike bundled up in this bitter cold for tonight's spectacular show, but it's the little ones who get the biggest thrill.
I love it.
You do? Why do you like it?
The parade mostly, because of lights and stuff.
Plus Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That laser light show was sure a hit with the crowd tonight. It is scheduled to run 3 times each weekend night through the end of the festival. That is January 1st. Reporting live from Niagara Falls, Melanie Pritchard, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Melanie, bring on the holidays. Thanks a lot.
Buffalo investigators say kids playing with matches caused a fire that destroyed their home. 6 children, with the oldest being 16, were in the house on Hillary Street when the fire broke out. None of the kids was hurt, but 2 firefighters did suffer minor injuries. The parents were out of town at the time of the fire, and the 16-year-old had been left to care for the kids. The children are now in the custody of relatives. Buffalo police say they may file a complaint with Child and Protective Services. The home will have to be torn down because of the extensive damage. A car caught fire after colliding with another vehicle at a Buffalo intersection. A woman was trapped in the burning car, but she was rescued in time by emergency crews. Carol Teresi of Tonawanda is now in stable condition at Kenmore Mercy Hospital. Police have ticketed the driver of the other vehicle, Elzada Hassan Salan, for running a red light. Salan was taken to ECMC. His condition is not known.
Police in the southern tier say they've broken up a drug ring in Jamestown. 5 suspects were arrested yesterday afternoon and accused of setting illegal drug operations up in a house on Liberty Street. Although the suspects were all arrested in Jamestown, police say they are residents of Buffalo. Another memorial service is planned for an Amherst doctor murdered about a month ago. Dr. Barnett Slepian was shot to death in his Amherst home by a sniper who still remains at large. Tomorrow, family and friends will gather for a religious remembrance service. It will be at Temple Beth Am in Williamsville at 7:30 p.m. The man wanted as a material witness in the Slepian case, James Kopp, still has not been found. The FBI is even looking for him in Mexico. Investigators are also looking for 2 other men who might have information about Slepian's murder. They want to talk to Ronald Stauber and Michael Gingrich. The 2 may be traveling in a Ford Taurus with Ohio plates.
It appears that Iraq is stonewalling UN weapons inspectors again. Latest word out of Baghdad tonight that Iraq is refusing to turn over confidential documents. Plus, weapons inspectors have paid a surprise visit to a suspected weapons site. President Clinton says that this latest refusal is not the way to get those sanctions lifted. Meanwhile, the president is spending these days visiting 2 military bases in South Korea. He praised America's armed forces as the muscle that makes the country's diplomacy work. The president's trip to the Far East comes at a time of suspicion concerning North Korea's possible nuclear capabilities. Will House impeachment proceedings against the president fizzle out? That's the feeling of some Democrats and Republicans. A Massachusetts Democrat is predicting that the House probe will likely end before Christmas and that the president could emerge unscathed. A New York Republican is predicting that at least 20 of his GOP colleagues are ready to vote against impeachment.
In the southern tier, the snow has arrived just in time for the holiday season. In the town of Arkwright, 2 to 3 inches of snow fell overnight. When will it start heading north? Well, Andy Parker can answer that question. He has the first weather forecast.
That's right, Gene. And you know what? It's not going to head north. Fortunately, the winds are going to warm up tomorrow, and I'll be surprised if any of that snow is still around 24 hours from now. Springville, probably the hardest hit. When we say hard, that's 2 to 3 inches, which isn't all that bad for western New York, especially approaching December. Let's take a look at your forecast for on the move in the morning as we look northward on Main Street. 30 degrees for an overnight low, some 20s in the inland areas, but by tomorrow afternoon, very windy conditions, breezy, borderline windy, 50 degrees for an afternoon high, and we'll continue to see that 50-degree temperature into the 7-day forecast, which we'll examine in just a couple of minutes. Back inside.
All right, we'll talk to you then, Andy. Thanks. Remembering war veterans in Chautauqua County. That story continues our eye on your hometown. In Jamestown today, a new Veterans War Memorial was dedicated at City Hall. It houses videos, movies, and biographies of over 20,000 Chautauqua County veterans. In addition, they're honored with a statue and commemorative plaques on Tracy Plaza at the City Hall. The West Seneca Youth Bureau held its first annual Winter Carnival at Southgate Plaza. There was plenty to do, everything from games, prizes, and rides and performances. Also, Scooby and friends sang and danced to favorite holiday Christmas carols. Gospel music at the Prince of Peace Temple in Buffalo apparently moved the audience as young people lifted their voices. Several college and local groups performed at the holiday extravaganza. The performances offered a spiritual way to jumpstart the holiday season.
Well, here are the winning numbers drawn so far tonight in the New York State Lottery. The daily number 349, the win for number 4967. And stay with us. The pick 10 numbers and the live lotto drawing are still ahead.
Well, how'd you do?
I'll do well.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News, they just turned 1. Now the McCoy septuplets get a new home.
Plus a warning for New Yorkers who want to buy Viagra by mail.
And a little bit later on, Santa Claus comes to town.
Those stories and more when Eyewitness News continues for Niagara Falls, Amherst, Dunkirk, and your hometown.
Channel 7's Eyewitness News is your hometown advantage. First, local, live, from around the world to Western New York, bringing the top stories home to you. A crippling spinal cord injury. It happened to actor Christopher Reeve. What would you do if it happened to you? In an Eye on Health Extra, Sheila Mahoney explores breakthrough treatments and hears from local patients who have beaten the odds. Sunday at 11. On Channel 7's Eyewitness News, your hometown advantage.
Imagine your house filled with $10,000 worth of furniture and great things for the holidays. It can be yours. Just stop by any participating brand names, Lockport Mattress, or Countryside Stove and Chimney locations and pick up a free entry form. Mail it to Dream Room Sweepstakes, WKBW-TV, 7 Broadcast Plaza, Buffalo. Then watch Eyewitness News at 5 for winning announcements each Tuesday. If we announce your name, you'll qualify to win your dream room valued at $10,000. The Dream Room Sweepstakes from Channel 7, your hometown advantage.
Live from WKBW-TV, this is Channel 7 Eyewitness News at 11 with Luke Moretti, Gene Hill, and Andy Parker with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast.
Health officials say mail-order Viagra could be a dangerous practice. The New York State Health Department is investigating a practice of mail-order Viagra. State officials are concerned that customers can call a toll-free number or contact an online pharmacy and order the drug without seeing a physician. The company says the forms are reviewed by a physician who then prescribes the drug, which is mailed to the patient. The practice may not be illegal, but with 69 deaths since Viagra hit the market in April, 12 of whom were not under a physician's care, state officials are being cautious. The State Attorney General's office is forcing a health care distribution company to pay New York State $1 million for overbilling Medicaid. Quantum Health Resources distributes blood products to hemophiliacs, and it's accused of pocketing manufacturers' rebates instead of passing the savings onto the state Medicaid system.
Well, it is a big gift for a big family. We're talking about the McCoy family of Iowa. You remember them, don't you? The famous septuplets born 1 year ago. But today, they had a housewarming party. Cameras looking on, the McCoy septuplets tried out their new playroom as they spent their first day in their new home. When the 3 girls and 4 boys were born in November of '97, the family lived in this small house in Carlisle, Iowa. Today, they moved into a new 6,000 square foot home donated by the city government and local businesses.
I think of one sign that I'd like to have on the front of the house, and that this is not a museum, this is the McCoy family home.
But that's exactly what it looked like as visitors snaked their way through the spacious 7-bedroom home. Among the highlights were the huge kitchen, a working fireplace, and the playroom, where the septuplets amused themselves and sometimes played to the cameras. This morning, Bobby and Kenny McCoy, along with their older daughter Michaela, were presented with the keys to their house. The McCoys were grateful, but are eager to move out of the spotlight.
I just really don't want them to be raised in front of a camera either, because I don't want them to think that they live in a glass bubble too.
But this week, the cameras were all over the Oprah Winfrey Show. Harpo Productions celebrated their birthdays on the Winfrey Show, as well as at the hospital, where they were born. 2 of the youngsters still use feeding tubes, but overall, they're healthy in spirit. As news crews moved in and out of the McCoy home, their new neighbors looked on.
We really don't know him, so it'll be interesting just to kind of watch him grow up. I know Mom and Dad are looking forward to that.
Fortunately for all of the McCoys, their new home includes a double washer-dryer set. Well, the new space eases the cramped nature of life with 8 children, especially since 7 of them are the same age.
Well, guess what? The cost of preparing a Thanksgiving meal has gone up. The American Farm Bureau Federation says the average meal of turkey, cranberries, pumpkin pie, and trimmings for 10 people will cost 4% more than last year. The meal is now priced at $33. The factors? The Farm Bureau blames it on low production for turkeys and milk products and a slight cost of living increase. Still, the group says it's a great deal, and I think so, too.
I was going to say just that. That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
All right, let's eat. Now, earlier, we showed you some of the snow that's fallen in the southern tier.
So when will measurable snow hit Buffalo? Meteorologist Andy Parker is up next to tell us what we can expect.
But first, let's get a look at the Pick 10 numbers tonight. 1, 4, 9, 11, 20, 23, 26, 34, 40, 41, 42, 44, 48, 51, 53, 56, 61, 74, 75, and 79. We'll be back.
This broadcast of Channel 7's Eyewitness News is closed captioned for the hearing impaired.
Andy, I'm sure there's some people wondering if we're going to have any of the white stuff for the Festival of Lights out of the Falls.
You know, folks in the North Towns, we were up there at a Festival of Lights tonight, and they were inquiring, where's all the snow? The snow, it's all south of the city. You drive down along the 219. Once you're in Springville, you look left and right out your window, and everything is white, 2 or 3 inches there, as well as in Arkwright, is a little farther south. And that's the kind of situation that happened this morning. Some cold air, some lake effect snow developed, and we got a couple inches. But tomorrow, it's not going to stick around. We're going to see windy, breezy, and warm tomorrow, and that snow won't last. And the folks in the North Towns, it will be quite some time. I don't think, especially not the next day or so. We don't expect any snow. Temperatures actually above normal. Let's talk about the temperature right now. We're at the low for the day, 34. We were as high as 30, I believe it was, we'll check in a minute, but it was in the 30s. West winds at 10. Now let's check on that. There was a trace of snow at the airport. We were as high as 38. I was going to say 36, but either way, no one's going to split hairs. We're still in the 30s. 46 and 36 was last last year on this date, and the normals for the day 45 and 32, so we're a little bit below. But tomorrow will be on the opposite side. Take a look at some other temperatures around western New York. They shape up like this. Look at the 20s. The reason that you see the 20s farther west is because they have clearing skies. We had partly cloudy skies throughout today. That's going to hold the temperature up, as well as the lake temperature still being near 50 degrees. That's going to hold those temperatures in the low 30s. But we should eventually end up in the 20s here as well. You can see the low-level clouds that kept us gray and dark all day. Now some clearing in back through parts of Detroit and the Ohio Valley. That'll move in here as high pressure shifts on towards the coast. When we look at the radar, not much happening right now. We did have some activity in parts of the southern tier, and we can show you just the remnants. It trailed off late this evening. Doppler radar, you can see a couple of those bands really didn't have the chance to move north because of the atmospheric conditions kind of squashed it all away. And we will find calmer winds tonight, but that's the calm before the storm. Take a look out west. 70, 80 mile-an-hour wind gusts in parts of Colorado. The west coast just getting pummeled by these storms. And last year, because of El Nino this time, it was down in Southern California, now in the Pacific Northwest. For us tomorrow, we're going to be watching high pressure move in, and that'll give us partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon, although it will be rather windy. There's a strong pressure gradient here. And then as we look into tomorrow's forecast, the continued partly cloudy skies, and then this is what holds our future here as we head into Monday night into Tuesday. As far as temperatures go, we'll be on the warm side of this, 50s all the way back through parts of the northern tier. Take a look at this, 70s, a good bulk of them in parts of Texas. Your forecast tonight, before we put anything on this, let me show you the sky cam, see if you can guess where we're looking tonight. A beautiful sky cam shot. Gary Walters picked this one out, and as we take a look way in the distance towards the horizon, a festival of lights begins tonight and runs through January 3rd. Just a gorgeous evening up there. You can see the Skyline Tower with the lights dancing around. Now let's take a look at that forecast. 30 degrees, clearing skies, flurries ending, which they already have, 20s inland, and then we'll find west-southwest winds at 5 to 10. Watch the winds as we head into tomorrow. Gusting up to 20, 25 miles an hour, high of 50 degrees with partly cloudy, breezy and warm conditions, borderline windy, but it won't be cold. Then for tomorrow night, not as cold either, a low of 40 degrees will keep those breezy conditions in, and here's that 7-day forecast. Shapes up like this. For Monday, we'll keep those warm conditions in there as well. 53 degrees, it'll still remain windy. Then as we look at Tuesday, we start to see some showers come in on Tuesday, and the temperatures don't drop that much, back into the 40s. And then as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, a few more showers as well. We're going to watch Thanksgiving because it could be a bit colder, but we'll keep an eye on that. Weather words out here tonight, windy and warm, and that's what we're looking at back inside.
All right, now it's time for tonight's Lotto 54 drawing.
Let's take a look.
Good evening, I'm Yolanda Vega. Welcome to the live Lotto drawing for Saturday, November 21st, being observed by an auditor from KPMG Pete Marwick. Tonight, you could win or share a jackpot of $12 million. Granville Elementary School in Washington County is the most recent recipient of computers from the New York Lottery. Congratulations to Granville Elementary School. Tonight's winning Lotto numbers are 2, 18, 37, 29, 30, 49, and supplementary number 47, making Saturday, November 21st, winning Lotto numbers 2, 18, 37, 29, 30, 49, and supplementary number 47. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.
Niagara Falls wasn't the only area to start its holiday celebrations today. In Dunkirk, a Santa Claus parade brought a cheerful atmosphere to Central Avenue. The parade marks the official start of the annual toy drive for needy kids. It was sponsored by the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots program. In Williamsville, Commander Tom welcomed Santa Claus at Eastern Hills Mall. Crowds of youngsters gathered for the magical entrance of that jolly man expected to bring them wonderful toys. The chimney is his stage entrance of choice, and he chose to make it the most. Well, Tom and Santa's appearance together has become legendary. And speaking of legends, Irv Weinstein held his end up at the Boulevard Mall. He and other local broadcasters autographed calendars to raise money for a Buffalo Broadcasting Museum. The event, sponsored by the Buffalo Broadcast Pioneers, brought two legends together. Irv will soon join former TV sportscaster Van Miller in what's expected to be a leisurely world of retirement. Well, still ahead, Eyewitness Sports team coverage of high school and college football.
And can the Sabres keep their unbeaten streak? Sports coming up next. All right, we're going to talk a little hockey tonight, huh?
Yep, the Sabres were putting that 9-game unbeaten streak on the line tonight. The back end of a home-and-home between the Sabres and the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, and a little bit of a farewell tour for Maple Leaf Gardens. In February, they will open up the new Air Canada Centre. Still some months away, but tonight's game marked the last time the Sabres will skate in the historic old building. So far, the Sabres leading the season series 3-0. Curtis Brown in on Curtis Joseph. Cujo makes the first save, but Alex Shitnick is there for the rebound, and the Sabres take a 1-0 lead. Second period now, Mike Johnson with the puck. He'll try to go in on Dominic. Dominic will make the first save, but he gets it in on the second try, 1-1 at that point. Later in the second period, Igor Korolev on the break. He gives Toronto a 2-1 lead with that goal right there. Korolev's 5th of the year. Jeff Sanderson had a chance to tie it up. A breakaway here in the third, but Cujo stones him. Joseph made 17 saves tonight. A bad night for the Sabres and a bad night for Matthew Barnaby. He lost his teeth, and the Sabres lost the game 2-1, snapping that 9-game unbeaten streak. Taking a look at some other scores from tonight in the NHL. Florida and New Jersey skate to a 3-3 tie. Washington and Boston, big slugfest even between the goalies tonight. Jason Allison scores in overtime as the Bruins win. Colorado 3, Montreal 2. Ottawa beats Calgary tonight. The Lightning lose to the Penguins. Brett Hull out with a bruised kidney. Dallas and St. Louis tie tonight. The Islanders win big over Nashville, and Edmonton and Phoenix 1-1 in the third. Now, this weekend is a big one for two Western New York high school football teams. Both the Lackawanna Steelers and the Maple Grove Red Dragons made it to the round of 4. Both teams hoping for one more week of football. Let's start with the Class D game between Maple Grove and Dolgeville. Out to the Carrier Dome. First quarter, Red Dragons with the ball. The handoff to J.J. Welling. Welling will get all the way down to the 11-yard line, a gain of 16. Maple Grove finishes off the drive here with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Josh Little. 7-0 Red Dragons. Third quarter, 14-13 Maple Grove. Dolgeville's Bruce Radley floats one for Donald Hanson. Hanson goes in for the score, a 41-yard touchdown, 19-14. Fourth quarter, though, Maple Grove pulls it out. Secchi keeps it. He runs right, cuts back, a 5-yard touchdown, and Maple Grove wins by a point, 20-19. So for the first time ever, the Red Dragons are going to play for the state championships.
It's the biggest win in our history, and it goes to all the players that have played.
Oh, it's awesome coming here, playing in the dome, playing inside on the turf, and this team was great, and we came out. It was a tough battle. Could have gone either way, but our defense stepped up in the end, and we won.
We're so excited right now that we got a chance to accomplish one of our goals we set last year at our football banquet after we lost in the Western Regional. And it's going to be great just to have a chance to accomplish one of our goals we set. I mean, we feel great right now.
And now to the Class B semifinal between Lackawanna and Maine Endwell. Back to the Carrier Dome, Lackawanna with the ball. Number 3, Wade Turner will get the call. Turner, 33 yards on this play. Lackawanna having their way at the early goings of this game. Lackawanna will get the ball again. This time they'll give it to Joe West, and actually Joe West had the only score of the game with 1:54 left. Lackawanna, a 54-yard touchdown pass to West, and they win 6-0. The Steelers will get to defend their state title next weekend. In college football, Buff State is also getting a taste of postseason play. The Bengals traveled to Springfield, Massachusetts for the first round of the NCAA Division III playoffs. Today, the first ever meeting between Buff State and Springfield in front of a solid second quarter. Buff State up 14-7. Kevin Cahill keeps it on the option. A 13-yard touchdown run for Springfield ties it at 14. Third quarter, 21-17 Pride leading. Chris Henry to Tom Shamp. Shamp eludes 2 tacklers and makes his way in for the score. Bengals take back the lead 24-21. Fourth quarter, Cahill, with lots of time, goes way up and over to Rich Taslow. The Pride leads 35-31 at this point, but don't count out the Bengals. Under a minute to go, Sean Starks finds a hole and gets into the end zone. Buff State pulls out a great 38-35 win. After the game, QB Chris Henry and head coach Jerry Boyes talked about the big win.
But we felt very strongly about our abilities to move the football, and it would just come down to the execution parts. If we did that, we really felt that the only people that could stop us would be our own mistakes.
So excited now we get to go on next week, go play Rowan. I think they're winning right now, so we're just going to enjoy this one for now.
Bulls also in action, playing their last regular season game against Hofstra. First quarter, Bulls defense with a big play. It will be Eric Pipkins For the defense, for the Bulls, he will intercept the pass here, and Pipkins heads down the sidelines, 56 yards on the return for the touchdown, and UB takes an early 7-0 lead. Move to the second quarter now. Giovanni Carmazzi to Wayne Yearwood. Yearwood will go all the way, 60 yards for the touchdown, 17-7 Hofstra. They led 31-7 at the half. Move to the fourth quarter now. UB tried to come back. They scored 3 straight touchdowns. This one from Chad Salisbury to Callie Watkins. That made it 44-36, and that's how it would end. The Bulls lose by 8, and they finish their year at 4-7. One of the big matchups on the national scene today was between number 2 Kansas State and number 19 Missouri. Kansas State coming in undefeated and looking to stay in the hunt for the national title. Mizzou, on the other hand, trying to play the role of spoiler. Out to the Show Me State. Pick this one up. First quarter, no score. Michael Bishop avoids the sack, rolls right, and then will connect to Caven Peters. A 9-yard touchdown catch, 7-0 Kansas State. Second quarter, 10-0 now. Corby Jones wanted to throw, couldn't find anyone, so he runs it in and stretches enough for the score, 10-7. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half, Jones finds Kareem Wise. He's 20 yards away and across the magic line. Mizzou goes into halftime leading 13-10. Third quarter, KSU back up by 4. Bishop pitches to Frank Murphy. Murphy scores from 9 yards out. KSU leads 24-13. They win by a final of 31-25. They complete their first undefeated regular season in school history. Taking a look at some of the other top games from today. Number 1, Tennessee rolls over Kentucky. UCLA over Southern Cal. FSU scores 17 points to upset rival Florida 23-12. Number 7, Ohio State wins. Number 9, Arkansas upset by Mississippi State today. Notre Dame wins by a field goal. And the Badgers win today. That puts them in a 3-way tie for the lead in the Big Ten. And Syracuse, a big winner today, 38-7. And how about some local college action on the hardwood today? Let's start with Canisius and St. Bonaventure. Jamie Cameron inside to Dale Sawyer. Sawyer's back out to Cameron. He drains the 3. On the other end of the floor now, J.R. Bramers misses. Terrence Durham puts it in. The Bonnies trailed for much of this game, though. Canisius will get the ball back, working it inside to Matt Tribule. He'll finish it off with a nice lay-in here. Canisius wins 61-58. Some other scores for you today. UB loses by 19. They will play Canisius on Tuesday. Alvin Young, a career-high 32 points, but Niagara Falls 96-90. And Damon over Buff State 62-61 in the Coles Classic. And tomorrow, of course, a Bills game, complete coverage from John Murphy, John Burton, and myself.
All right, thanks. All right. Well, still ahead, some Southern kids find out what it's like to play in the snow. Finally, Buffalo may not have mounds of snow yet, but a city in Texas does.
Some man-made snow was created in Austin to help kick off the Coats for Kids Drive. Any child who donated a coat or made a donation got the rare chance to play in the snow.
I say let's don't rush the season.
It's not the same as slush.
That's right. That's going to do it for Eyewitness News. Be sure and join us tomorrow at 6.
New York Undercover is next. Thanks for staying up with us.
That's the kind of stuff you get it in your hands.